Well, first, show of hands. Have any of you read The Bully in Your Pocket? So, okay, have any of you read Cilantro Drive? Have any of you read any of the books? All right, which book?
3 Years of Fear.
Okay, okay, so you read. Okay, raise your hand if you read Tafoya. Okay, this gives me a good baseline. All right, so my newest book is called, which book have you read?
The Bully.
Oh, you read The Bully. Okay, awesome. So this is my most recent book. It's called The Bully in Your Pocket. And the subtitle is Your #1 Playbook to Defeat Online Trolls. And it wasn't my intention to write this book. I have like 10 books in my head that I want to write. And so I have them written down somewhere. And this was not one of them. And I was speaking at a school a couple years ago about Tafoya. It was at Idea Carver Academy on the east side of San Antonio. And this girl in the back row raised her hand and she asked me a question. And she said, what is the biggest difference between going to school today and when you were in school? And I just lifted my phone into the air and I said, this is the biggest difference. This didn't exist when I was your age. And so if someone was bullying me, I just had to go home. If I went home, I have 3 older brothers. My dad, toughest guys that I know. So no one could mess with me. All I had to do is get home. But you have a different problem. And your problem is that you can take this now into the most intimate parts of your life, where you're supposed to be safe, where it's just you by yourself. And you can turn on this phone, and there are 150, 200 people, whether it be on the gaming platform, whether it be in the DMs or the comment section, and people just attacking you, telling you, that you suck or whatever it is. And I just did not have that problem when I was your age because this didn't exist. And I said, so this is the grand challenge of your generation. You have something to deal with that none of us of my generation had. And so after that talk, I left, and her question really bothered me. And I couldn't get it out of my head. And so finally I was like, you know what? I probably need to have a better answer than that. And so I wrote this book called The Bully in Your Pocket, and it's about trolling, or at least that's what we call it in the tech world, right? It's not, some people call it online bullying or cyberbullying, but we just call them trolls. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that term. So in the book, I talk about, there's several stories that I use, but there's 2 probably that sort of anchor the book. One of them is about a young man in Alamo Heights who is I think he was a senior, and he got bullied really hard and he committed suicide. And after he committed suicide, his family launched a foundation called the David's Legacy Foundation. And they went to the Texas legislature and lobbied to get the laws passed that help prevent and give protections for online bullying. So now it can be a criminal offense if you engage in this. And so that's one of the stories to cover. But one of the other stories is when I was CEO of a co-working space downtown, I got trolled by a professional troll. So this guy, he was a customer, and he didn't like some of the things we were doing, and he said, you better do this or I'm gonna tell the whole world that you suck. And he made up a bunch of lies about us. And I was like, well, do whatever you want to do, bro, but you're not going to bully me. So he launched this whole campaign, and it got shared thousands of times. And this reporter wrote an article about it. And so it was really stressful. And I wanted to, sort of drag the guy into the back alley and beat him up. But, obviously I couldn't do that. So it was a really, really traumatic time for me. And so that is the core story in the middle of the book. And then the end of the book is I discovered these 10 plays. And these plays are what I use to beat him. And so there are some rules to the internet that I know from just growing up in it. And so I use those to defend myself and defend the company that I was working for. And so it worked. And so it was great. So we beat this guy, it totally went away. The problem is that the aftermath was emotionally, I was a total wreck. And I was sort of, and I write this in the book, how trolling is trauma. So if you get attacked by someone online, it is a form of trauma. And so I didn't know that at the time, and so I just thought I was just angry all the time. And so finally, many years in therapy, I had to bring it up, and got over it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to put the plays out there so that anybody that deals with this can learn from it and can defend themselves from this kind of activity. And so that is the book. And it's been really interesting since I published it because I've had a lot of interest. The first organization that had me come speak out was the Ballet Conservatory. And I thought, man, there's no way the ballet people are getting bullied, right? Well, sure enough, I mean, it's everywhere. And I remember this young girl said, hey, what do you do if someone is pressuring you to post something that you don't want to post? And I was like, well, you know, it goes without saying, but you realize it's your wall. You realize it's your social media, right? And I think what I wanted to tell her, and what I did tell her, was I want to give you permission to have boundaries on your social media and to say, hey, these are the things that I will allow on my feed or on my wall or on my comments, and these are the things that I won't. And so I have a list of things that I don't post, things that I don't respond to, and there's things I don't allow. And actually, I'll give you a funny story. Last week, I posted a video on my Instagram. I was doing a real estate talk, and it's like super boring for most people. So I'm talking about like walkability, transportation, right? Really, really boring stuff. And so I posted on Instagram, and oh my gosh, the trolls had so much fun. Like, I mean, there's so many people had so many strong opinions about what I would consider pretty boring stuff. And so I was having a meeting, I left, I checked my post, and this guy was like, you can take your walkability and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. And I started laughing, and I thought, you know, this is a great lesson, because it doesn't matter what you're into. You could be into something really obscure and boring, but there's going to be some troll out there who doesn't like and doesn't, you know, have a problem telling you, you know, to go shove it. And I just go, this is a real beautiful case study of how. And so what do we do about that? Well, we have to start with how we're going to act online. So we have to start with, well, what kind of user am I going to be? And I think you need to decide that now, because if you decide it now, it's way easier to defend yourself when the attacks come. So I'm going to stop there. That's sort of the summary of the book. So I'm going to do a quick survey, and then we're going to go into Q&A. So get your questions ready. Okay, so survey one. How many of you have a phone, a smartphone? Show of hands. Okay, so most people. All right. How many of you have a TikTok account? All right. How many of you have Snapchat? Okay. If you can tell, it's going to get older and older. How many of you have Instagram? Twitter? And then the old one, Facebook. Yeah. All right, cool. That's the last one. MySpace. Anybody MySpace users? OG. That's vintage. That's vintage social media right there. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. You've watched it. You've all seen it. Is there any platforms I'm forgetting?
I was about to say iFunny.
What is it?
iFunny.
iFunny? What is that?
That was like 2014, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, what was it? Like video? Was it pictures? Was it?
Yeah, like pictures.
Okay, that's cool. See, I didn't know that. See, I'm learning. iFunny?
Yeah.
Or Vine? Yeah, Vine. Who's on Vine? All right. Yeah, there's all these obscure ones. Okay, so, all right, just you can shout it out to me. Which one of these do you like the least?
Instagram.
Really? Okay, so tell me why you like Instagram the least.
You can text your friends, you can watch videos, you can like just do whatever you want basically on Instagram.
Sorry, you like it the most or you don't like it?
I like it.
Oh, okay. Which one do you not like the most?
Snapchat.
Facebook. Okay, how come you don't like Facebook? It's the opposite of Instagram? The off-brand Instagram. So it's owned by the same company. Yes, ma'am. Snapchat? Why don't you like Snapchat?
They like fake accounts and make it look like it's someone else, and then they control you on there.
And they control you on there? What do you mean by they control you? You mean they're pretending to be you?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The reason I don't like Snapchat is because people can see your location.
Oh, okay. They can see exactly where you are? On every post?
It can show your current location.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know that.
I mean, if you got kidnapped, that would be...
It would be helpful, but yeah. Hopefully that's not happening. Okay, so we're gonna go to Q&A in a second. The reason I asked that is everybody's different, as you can see. Everybody has a platform that you gravitate. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of like examples that I use in mine. So the one that I use the most is Instagram because I post a lot about my books. It's sort of marketing for me. And the one that I can't stand the most, that I like the least, is Twitter. And the reason I don't like Twitter is because I can feel my blood pressure going up as I'm scrolling, and everybody's just screaming, and I can feel my heart pounding. But specifically what I don't like about it is if I don't like this person or what they have to say, I can unfollow them. But then if we're friends and you retweet them, they show back up in my feed, and I'm like, son of a gun. I'm trying to get away from this person, but somehow. So Twitter for me is the one that personally I don't like. And so what do I do about it? Well, I still have an account because I like to check it, mostly to see SpaceX stuff and what Elon's doing. But I don't have it installed on my phone. So that's just a boundary that I have. I go to my laptop to check it, but I do not have Twitter on my phone because if I have it on my phone, it makes me angry. So I don't want to be angry all day. So I delete it from my phone. The only ones I use other than that are LinkedIn, just because it's sort of the modern day resume, and then Facebook and Instagram. Those are the ones that I primarily use. And so for me, those are the ones that I'm using the most of my day. And so when I use those, I have rules that I've already set up. So, and this is just mentally. I've written them down somewhere, but they go like this. I don't post anything controversial. I don't post politics. I don't post religion. I post things, don't judge me, but I'm a weird cat guy. I have like 4 cats. So I post a lot of cat pictures, okay? If you're on my feed, you're gonna see some cats doing cute stuff. It's just the way it is. So I post that. I also post very encouraging things, books that I'm reading, recommendations, cool places that I think people should eat. I love wandering cities and discovering places. So that's the kind of stuff that I post. So I'm not going to post anything that invites arguing or fighting. The other thing I do is I don't allow people to talk trash on my stuff. So if I post something and someone starts getting really aggravated, I will tell them, hey, all opinions are welcome as long as they're respectful. And if they're not, I will delete your comment. And so I will delete people regular, or I'll block them with no problem. But I'll warn them first, hey, you can be on my wall and you can be interacting with my stuff. I got no problem. You can even disagree with my points of view. But as soon as you get nasty, I'm going to delete it. So just be warned. You can do it on whatever you do on your wall. So these are the things that I've decided now when things are going good. And the reason I've decided it is because when things go bad, it's harder to think clearly about those rules. So this is the first homework that I want you to ponder, is if you would go write down what are the things that you will allow and not allow on your social media. And this is a very important part of being a social media user, because it's going to help you in the future.